Hello and welcome learners. Today I decided to just make a tutorial for the grade 8 and this is what I have prepared. Please leave this. This is not for grade 8, it's for grade 11s, but I'm just using the very same page to separate two things. Now we have this question that says we should simplify fully. This is a November question paper of the year 2020. Now this was the problems that were given to these learners. So let's just go through them and see what we can come up with. Can I just do this to the camera? Very good. Let me just pull it that side. All right. Now, how do we solve problems like this? Now we will start with the first one. So let me just write down the solution for this. So the first one says a exponent 3 multiplied by a exponent 2. These are just the basics for grade 8, of course. They draw these basics from grade 11, grade 7, from grade 7, grade 6, and so on. So the information that you have accumulated over the past grades plays a role in your grade 8 basic mathematics, right? So I know that when I multiply numbers of the same basis, the bases are the same and I have the exponents. Now the law says if the bases are the same separated by multiplication, what you do, you write one base, which is a, and you add these exponents. So you'll just say 3 plus 2. You also write them as exponents. When the bases are the same separated by multiplication, you add the exponents. So you write one base, then you say 3 plus 2, then you get an answer of 5. Again, right, this is what we have for the first one. I think 1 mark was allocated for this, but this is a nice problem to work with. Now let's try and look at the second one. X to the exponent of 3 plus 1, all inside of the brackets, and they are raised to exponent 0. Now the law, you should know and understand that whenever you have something that is inside of the brackets raised to an exponent of 0, the answer is 1. This is very, very important that you know this. So we can have many things inside of the brackets, whatever, multiplication, division, and subtraction. As long as all those things are inside of the brackets and they are raised to an exponent of 0, the answer is just 1. For what reason this is, let's just leave that one. When we escalate in engineering mathematics, when you are doing your honors and masters, we shall deal with such things. How it came to be that everything that you raise to exponent 0 when it is inside of the brackets should give you a number 1. We will deal with that in advanced mathematics. I shall explain all those things. For now, I'm dealing with grade 8. Now let's try to look at the third problem, x3 divided by x5. So I have x to exponent 3 divided by x to exponent 5. I can rewrite this in this way, x3 divided by x5. I can just rewrite it in this way because it becomes a little bit simpler for me to work with. Now when I have it in this way, the rules again can apply. I was multiplying the same basis. I added the exponents. Now here I am dividing the same basis. This divides with that and the base is the same. So now what does the law require for this? The law tells me that whenever I divide the same basis, I subtract the exponents. But how do I make use of that? So what I do, you write whatever that you have on the numerator. There it is. Now, because the bases are the same and I'm dividing The separating line is a line of division. You take this exponent of 5. When it goes on top here, you subtract. Hence, we are saying when you divide the same bases, you subtract the exponents. You write only one base. You leave the exponent of whatever that is on top, the numerator. When this goes on top, it becomes negative. If it was negative, it would have been positive. So you're changing the sign of the exponent. Very good. And then I just apply the laws of algebra. 3 minus 5 is minus 2. They can say in the exam that you should leave your answer as a positive exponent. And whenever they say that, then you should know that when I write this with an exponent that is positive, you just say 1 over, you write your base, which is x. Now the exponent becomes positive. This is writing your answer with a positive exponent. Okay, that is fine. Basic things that are just nice to work with. Now let's go to number 4. Number 4, I believe, I think it's simplification. So this is what we have. Let me just show you this. We are dealing with simplification. Okay, but we're still applying the very same laws. So we have 2x3y multiplied by 3x squared y divided by 12x6y squared. So this is just a nice problem that I have, something that I just need to work with. Now, it is very important that I apply the laws very carefully here, because now we have a mixture of numbers and alphabets which are different that you need to work with. So here we're dealing with like terms. That is exactly what we're going to do. Now, I want you to be careful on how I'm going to approach this. Now, I'm going to regroup this. Please, you must be very, very careful here. I know that this is when you have 2x3y, this, I know that this can be written as 2 times x3 times y. There's multiplication that separates everything here, just that we don't write it. Remember, we are dealing with the grade 8s. We should be very careful in explaining things in details here. There's multiplication there which we do not write, but you should know. So I'm trying to insert that multiplication for you here. Now I want to show you why I'm doing this. So this one I'm going to write as 2 times x3 times 1, and there's also multiplication here, so I can write this as 3 times x squared times 1, and the same procedural method can be applied on this one. 12 times x6 times 1. You see, somebody who's doing sciences from mathematical literacy in university would require these lectures. I know many of the students who are doing sciences in university, and they never studied pure mathematics. They have always dealt with mathematical literacy. I always get these invites to make tutorials, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Right, and I also offer them lectures in chemistry and physics. Guys, I am a genius. Right, let's continue in this. Now, what really transpires here? Now, I can multiply the numbers because I'm grouping the like terms. I can say 2 multiplied by 3. 2 multiplied by 3. I can only do this when there's only multiplication separating the numbers and the alphabets. If there was any additional subtraction, you wouldn't apply this. But if you follow the tutorials of Ndabezeta, even you can go in YouTube, you just search for Papa Fanzo, and all of the lectures will appear there, including software engineering. Right, so 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. Very good. Now x3 multiplied by x squared. Now remember, we apply the laws. I write only 1x. Remember, I can even include that multiplication there. I can say when I multiply numbers of the same bases, I write one base and I add the exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. I, ndaba ezitha, multiplied. When I multiply numbers of the same bases, I add the exponents. I'm writing one base, there's a 1 there, remember, as an exponent. There's a 1 there also, remember, as an exponent. This is very important. The 3 was for x. Now 1 has an exponent of 1. We normally don't write that, you should know it. As much as this one also has an exponent of 1. So when I multiply numbers of the same bases, I add these exponents. Divide. There's nothing to regroup or even to simplify. I can say 12 times x6 times 1. Now remember, now the laws comes. I know that 6 divided by 12 is 1/2. You can just insert that on your calculator and it will provide you with an answer. Now look what is happening. When I divide numbers of the same bases, remember there's multiplication that separates this, so you can just write your multiplication here, please. So I write one base, remember, which is x, and now I'm dividing numbers of the same bases. Remember what we're going to say. We're going to say 5, this one it's positive, going on top it becomes negative. So I have my 5 minus 6. Very good. Separated by multiplication and division, I can just have my multiplication there. And now I'm dividing numbers of the same basis, not forgetting that there's an exponent of 1 here. Please do not forget that y has an exponent of 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write this. And when this positive 1 goes on top, it becomes negative. Okay, so I have my 1/2. Very good. What is 5 minus 6? Remember to write your base. 5 minus 6 should give you minus 1. Write your base. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, they can say write your answers with positive exponents. You remember that they love saying that. So what is happening exactly here? Now here you need to look very carefully on your numerators. You have a numerator of this has a denominator of 1, and also this one has a denominator of 1. So multiply first the numerators. 1 times x exponent minus 1 times y exponent 1, that would be x minus 1y, because 1 times this is this, and this times that is exactly this. Divide. 2 times 1 times 1 is 2. Ndaba ezitha. Right, let's just take this and just copy it to the side. So I have my x minus 1y divided by 2. Now I need to write this with a positive exponent. Remember what we do there. You just say 1 over, on the denominator you have your 2. Remember, when this goes on the denominator, the exponent becomes positive. You remember that. And remember, there's multiplication between these two things. And you have your y. Remember, your y is on the numerator. The only one that had to go on the other side to go down, because we want to make the exponent positive, was this x. So there it is. But remember, we have 2. So this is the same as 2 times x, which is 2x. And then on the numerator, we are left with y. But remember, when we take this to the denominator, it leaves a 1. There's 1 over. So we're just saying 1 times y. That will be y divided by 2x. And that becomes your final answer. Simple stuff that needs concentration. So unfortunately, we're going to break it here. And in the next lecture, the next tutorial, we will go to 5, 6, 7, and 8. Thanks a lot for your time.